Good morning, afternoon, or evening, everyone. Welcome to the stream. We're getting ready to set up soon. Teams have hopped into their matches about 10 minutes ago, and we should be getting some footage relatively soon, hopefully. So the way this is going to go down is basically we were originally going to cast the games like completely live and just hop in as a spectator and go like that. But when we tested that strategy, we had issues where like one person would start lagging and then everyone would freeze and then someone would get kicked out. And that person ended up being me, and I didn't want that to happen during the stream. So basically, as soon as a match is finished, I will be sent the replays, and then I'll be casting them to you immediately after the fact. So we'll have to see how long these end up taking. We're not entirely sure. And unfortunately, we do have one or two people from two teams that ended up not showing, like they were being talked to last night and people were making game plans and they didn't end up showing. So, yeah, so we're still trying to either merge those teams or see if we can find one or two other people to fill those last slots that got basically dropped. So we'll see if we can find anyone for that. And otherwise, they'll have to merge. Although there's going to be a lot more matches than I'm going to be able to cast, so that shouldn't affect us too much. I hope you're all excited because this is hopefully going to be quite fun. All right, so yeah, I guess we'll just kind of just wait it out for a little bit here. I guess in the meantime, we can go through some replays that we had. I can cast one of my replays of a match that I had last night against one of the fellow members of the Discord, and then as soon as I get a message on Discord with a replay, I'll be ready to start casting, and we can hop out of that, and we can hop into that. So this is myself playing Bretonia versus Activillain here playing the Empire. I have not played much with Bretonia. I don't think he played that much with the Empire. So it's kind of a toss-up as to see who would win. And you'll see some nasty mistakes on both sides of the field in this case. So I guess we can hop over some team comps here real quick. So I did take advantage of the Regiments Renown, got the Wardens of Montfort, my Poison Missile Cavalry, Knights of the Lion Guard, and Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis. And I've got the Fey Enchantress backing them up here. And then in my front line, I've got 4 men-at-arms with shields to protect against any missiles that they may have, Battle Pilgrims, and the Holy Wardens of La Maisontal, and backed up with some peasant bowmen. And then Foot Squires, Beast Slayers of Bastogne for some anti-large, Grail Relique, and the Paladin. Meanwhile, over on the Empire side, we have 2 Empire Captains, a Light Wizard, all on Pegasi, and we've got Boris Todbringer on his flying mount there. We've got Spearmen with shields in the back for some anti-cavalry. We've got a unit of Demigryph Knights with halberds. We've got a front line of halberdiers mixed with swordsmen, and we have 2 units of crossbowmen and 2 units of handgunners. So we'll start getting into that here. Again, if any of you are just joining, we're just filling the hiatus of waiting on some matches to finish so I can be sent replays and we can finish that from the actual tournament. And I decided I was going to give you all some footage of some matches that I had last night. So here we go. You can see my Cav force is kind of starting to patrol forward, a little bit spread out. And I just decided I was going to try and get my Wardens of Montfort to try and shoot at this Empire Captain. They get 1 volley off, but not going to do much with that. Did they hit him? No, they did not hit him, unfortunately. So I decided I was just going to pull out and I was going to move around. So it's been quite a while since I actually played the game at this point. I think this was like my 4th match after taking a few months hiatus, mostly because of school. And I've completely forgot about the old net trick, which you will see coming into play pretty dang soon. As you can see here, we have the crossbowmen opening up volleys into the men-at-arms. This is why I did bring the shields to protect against something like that. And we also do have some handgunners pouring into the fray. But because of the shields, they're not doing too bad. And you can see we have just a massive charge in here as the Empire captains and Boris Todbringer just go gun-ho right into my lines and start tearing apart these men-at-arms. I'm trying to charge my troops forward, but everything's kind of in disarray at this point. He charged my lines. I wasn't expecting it, and now everything is kind of all messed up. And my micro was all over the place at this point. I was trying to get my Beast Slayers of Bastogne, but they're way back there, not in a position to defend here. We can see I've got my Wardens of Montfort shooting some shots into the Spearman shields. I didn't actually mean to do that. I think that was fire at will. And I can see I'm trying to get my cav in position, see if I can pin these guys down, but unfortunately they're going to take off rather quickly here. Now, and here is where the net comes into play. So I completely forgot about the net, and then my unit ends up getting netted, and he sends the Demigryph Knights with halberds, and I tried to charge my guys in to try and propel them, but of course the net still casts even while it's here. So all my guys end up getting netted. A huge mistake by me, and we have the Demigryph Knights with halberds just charging in and absolutely destroying my Knights of the Lion Guard. Thankfully, I did have the Fey Enchantress to put on some Earth Blood to keep a few of them alive, and now at this point I'm just trying to get my troops out of there. Originally, I was trying to get the Wardens of Montfort to screen the charge since they were a lot lower health, but they did get caught by the net in a huge rookie mistake by me after not playing for a while, and I completely forgot about that old net trick. And you'll see it affect me again. So he's trying to charge in with the Empire captains, and I'm just pulling back my forces here. Again, for those of you who may be just joining us, we're casting just one of my matches while we wait on other matches to finish. And we can see a huge comet of Cassandora coming down, or the whichever comet the Fey Enchantress fires, and melting some of these halberdiers and handgunners. You see I get caught by the net again. And just for a second here, see if we can, just let me fix some things here. I'm just going to pause the game. Apparently the sound of the game might not be going on, and I'm going to set the stream priority to high here on my task manager. So apparently you might be having issues with no sounds of the game. That's interesting. Okay, hold on. And I'll have to see what I can do about that. I know I have the sound set to low because I do have some stuttering, some weird audio stuttering issues that I've never been able to fix, and not really sure what the issue is. All right, so there's Warhammer priority set down. And let's see, desktop audio. I do have that set down a little bit. Maybe we'll boost it up. Okay, so now, boot. Okay, so hopefully that should be fixed, and let's hop back into the battle. So tell me if you do hear any sounds now. If you don't, then I'll boost the sound even further. I know it's set to low because, yeah, as I said, I do have some issues with stuttering. Just audio stuttering. Not actual game stuttering. It's weird. It's just audio stuttering. As you can see, my guys get caught by the net again, and my cavalry starts to take a massive beating. It's not looking so good for me. Thankfully, I do have my peasant bowmen pouring some shots into these crossbowmen as they try and pull back. Beast Slayers of Bastogne moving forward here, trying to trap Boris Todbringer, and my Foot Squires, as usual, are actually running. We can see my Paladin in the front line here with the Holy Wardens of La Maison-Tal, and the Grail Relique just behind them boosting. Okay, getting a little bit of lag here. Gonna slow-mo and watch the fight here with the Fey Enchantress. We can see the Fey Enchantress getting surrounded by Demigryphs, and this is actually going to turn out to be pretty catastrophic for her. She's going to take a huge amount of damage from this engagement, as you'll see further. And I do have my Wardens of Montfort charging back in, and what I was hoping to do here was I could see the handgunners here just firing straight in to my stuck cavalry, and I was hoping to just screen them with the Wardens of Montfort and just distract them, which is why I'm charging in over here. Now let's okay, sounds are here. Okay, good to hear. Good to hear we got sounds again. Alright, hopping back into play. We can see the Wardens of Montfort doing their best, charging into the handgunners, trying to just tie them up so they can't fire into my cavalry. You could see another Earthblood going down there shortly. We can see more shots from the Peasant Bowmen, routing their crossbowmen, winning that engagement there. We do have 2 units of men-at-arms with shields engaging halberdiers, and 2 other units of battle pilgrims and men-at-arms engaging some units of swordsmen and causing a rout here. My center is actually holding quite well. Now I've got my Peasant Bowmen firing into the handgunners, who are still firing into my cav, just trying to whittle down these Demigryph Knights with halberds. You can see the Fae is taking so much damage, and she's getting ready to rout here. Definitely not what I'm looking for. And we've got another engagement here. It's probably going to go south. Thankfully, I do have the Foot Squires and the Beast Slayers of Bastogne with decent leadership here. But now Boris Todbringer peels off to hit the Peasant Bowmen. So I'm going to let this run for a few seconds here and check Discord. See if we got anything. Doesn't look like it so far. Alright, so now getting back into the battle here, we have Spearmen with shields, and we do have the net casted down on my units once again. Thankfully, though, they didn't actually have many ranged units to take advantage of this. It ends up being a super long net, an overcasted net, but he only had this 1 unit of handgunners, and now I'm going to take advantage and just try and charge into them. We can see lots of riding units on both sides. He still does have a full health Boris, though, and both his Empire captains, and my troops are starting to rout. We can see all of these troops here in the back line, men-at-arms with shields. We got Peasant Bowmen, more Peasant Bowmen, all just pulling away. Now, they are starting to come back from routing, but it's not looking that good considering he's got so many high-health heroes. You can see he also has his Light Wizard. And you can see kind of the frenzy that's going on in the middle here. I have broken their center, and I still have a full health Paladin and my Grail Relique, which is going to end up being very, very important in these late-game battles. You can see all my guys collected in the middle here, trying to boost this engagement that's going pretty poorly for these battle pilgrims. Thankfully, they are standing pretty strong even after taking heavy casualties against the bright blue swordsmen and halberdiers of Boris's forces, Midland forces. You can see another comment. I didn't know what really to... I should have put it here, come to think of it. But at the time, I was kind of just like, all right, what can we cast it on? You can see the Fae's getting chased down, and they're hopping onto my cavalry here. We can see a comet coming down and going to be absolutely sealing the deal with these guys, chunking them down to death, and that's going to be over for them. We can see the, I don't remember what that ability is called of the Fae. I don't remember what it's called, the one that, yeah, Mist of the Lady. That slowly damages the enemy. And she's going to get hopped on by 2 Empire captains and Boris, and that's basically going to be the end of her. She's also netted, so she can't move. My cavalry can't get in, and she is so close to dead. 18 hit points, and that's going to be over. The Fae goes down. Now it's starting to look pretty poor. Thankfully, though, a lot of my forces are still alive. A lot of the Empire, I managed to take care of most of the Empire forces, except for his bundle of heroes here, and I've got just my whole army collected around here. So now what I'm going to be trying to do is just grouping all of my forces together, right? Together we stand, alone we fall. So we're going to move all of our units into the center. You can see all the movement orders coming out. We're going to try and collect around here and make it that his heroes can't pick off my soul units. We can see some of his units are starting to come back, but they're very low health compared to some of mine. You can see Foot Squires, very high health on both sides. Your Beast Slayers of Bastogne, and a full health Paladin and Grail Relique, which is really going to try and carry the day here. You can see I've got my cavalry running down some of the halberdiers, making sure they can't come back and be a pain in the butt for my cavalry. It's actually dead even though... Well, because I've got a lot of forces left, but he's got like full health heroes and Paladin and a Wizard of Light. You can see him grouping all my units together here, just trying to run off the last of the halberdiers and hopefully pull them back in. You can see he's doing the same thing. He's running off my men-at-arms with his Empire Captain. We can see Peasant Bowman getting run out by Boris and another Empire Captain, a Light Wizard just chilling in the air here. I don't have any of my Peasant Bowmen because they're being run off or were already slain. So I can't do anything against him, although they wouldn't have been that useful anyways. Probably would have done a few hit points worth of damage. See the Beast Slayers of Bastogne moving forward here. The one annoying thing that's going to be against me here is he does still have handgunners with, even though they don't have many units, they've got a lot of health. So they're going to be just pouring shots into my guys, and I don't have much of a choice. What I was trying to do here, just trying to rush up as fast as possible while his heroes aren't here and try and pick them off. But he is going to be able to pull back, which is going to be very unfortunate for my troops here. We can see he is firing at Battle Pilgrims, but they do have shields, so it's the limited effectiveness. I would have been firing either at the Foot Squires or the Beast Slayers of Bastogne. We can see a net coming down, and I try to move away, but I can't. And now the Grail Relique is going to be a target for the enemy here. What's he going to? Oh, he's going to... Oh, yeah, he's going after my Cav again. Cav is still very valuable at this stage in the game. I was trying to get away from the Demigryphs, so I was like, screw it, let's charge them. They have very low health. And now they're going to see if they can bring down the last of these Demigryphs here. My Valiant Knights here fighting to the end. And another Knight falls. Almost all of them have fallen. See, Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis. But I did manage, while they were caught up at the Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis, I managed to sneak one troop through into the handgunners. The Knights of Lionheart managed to get a charge in. Or the Knights of the Lionheart managed to get a charge in and hit these handgunners, preventing them from firing and doing some damage. But now all my cav has routed from the field. And now it's going to be a massive scrum in the middle here. We have both Empire Captains. We got the remains of the Demigryph Knights. I just want to get those Demigryph Knights out of here at that point. You can see I'm trying to bring my Foot Squires around. And thankfully the Demigryphs do end up routing there. But the key here is going to be my Paladin and the Grail Relique, which is providing my troops with leadership and immune to psychology. If they didn't have that, they would probably been routing a long time ago. And see here, Boris comes charging in. I managed to actually almost kill one Paladin. There he goes. Kill one Paladin. Not Paladin. Kill one Warrior Captain as my Paladin takes another swing at him. And almost kill the second one. Paladin's doing work right now, and now he's engaging onto Boris. You can see Boris is still at full health. They do have handgunners with still a decent amount of ammo left firing in, and Boris starts to make a retreat. And at this point, I've got a few more units running away. The Holy Wardens down to almost their last men. Men-at-arms with shields. Battle Pilgrims running away, but thankfully I still do have my Grail Relique, Paladin, and my Foot Squires. We can see massive charge in from Boris Todbringer. They're trying to work down the Grail Relique, and we can't have that. Grail Relique is what's keeping us in the battle, along with the encourage of the Paladin, so we're going to have to surround. Now, thankfully, if you don't know the way that splash damage works, basically what ends up happening is you have one unit that does splash damage, and if he's just facing a single target, he'll project all of that splash damage onto that one target, and otherwise it'll go to surrounding targets. So let me I quickly check the chat. If I was playing online, it would bring an army for range only, so I could focus on flying units. Yeah, flying units are pretty annoying. The thing, though, that's kind of annoying is that if you don't have single target ranged units, unless their flying units are huge, like I could have 3 units of Peasant Bowmen focusing on this guy while he's running, and it's not going to be doing much to him. A lot of the shots are going to miss because he's such a small target, which makes these guys super, super annoying to fight. And you can see the battle is definitely not in my favor at that point. He's still got some forces left, and he's got his Boris Todbringer full health and his Light Wizard. So this isn't looking very nice for me, and he's going to try and run off some of my forces with his Light Wizard. We're trying to surround Boris, but again, he can just pull out, and constantly able to cycle charge here, which is really annoying. And he's still got those handgunners firing in, which is even more annoying. So now all my units are turned around, and I'm just, at this point, I just want to wipe the rest of his forces out so we can just focus on the flying units, because then he's going to be forced to engage if I can get his ground units out of here. We can see one unit of handgunners is routing away, and I think I was trying to spread out a bit. I don't know why. Yeah, I'm pulling back in now. Excuse me. But see, somehow he has another net, and now my Grail Relique is unsupported. This is not good. He's going to try and run away, but again, I walk right into the net. He gets netted. So all my troops are netted, but thankfully he wasn't really able to push the advantage there. His Griffin's just kind of doing some fancy flying moves, but not hitting much there. Although he still does have his handgunners firing in. They're about to run out of ammo, though, thankfully. And now here is his Empire Captain and Boris, but they're going to be able to escape yet again. You can see it's still not looking very good for me, but the key components here, Paladin and Grail Relic, keeping me in the fight. So now, again, just gathering my forces. He's going to have to charge in eventually. And I do have my Grail Relic exposed on the side, which I do not want to have happen. But thankfully, most of them miss their attacks. And I'm going to be able to charge in here. I still want to kill that Paladin, but I'm unable to. And now I'm going to... Now, Activillain here just charging in. And we're going to have a Duke. And we're going to have our Paladin and Boris Todbringer duking it out. Although Boris is, I believe, focused on the Grail Relic, trying to bring that down, which is a smart decision. But my Paladin's going to start to hammer away at him. And this could be bad news for Boris, who has run out of regeneration at this point. Paladin just solely... Everyone now solely focused on Boris. We have the Light Wizard charging into support. Light Wizard going to charge in. But thankfully, even though some of these units cause fear, it's not able to do much because of my Grail Relic. Bringing in that immune to psychology. And now the Grail Relic, the Dead Knight, charging in. And we can see Boris actually taking chunked so low by the, by the Paladin. He's almost routing there, but manages to pull out at the last second. The handgunners and the spearmen and the swordsmen, the last of his forces along with his flying force, and now it's turned a little bit back in my favor. Still not, but now we're going to have our last final clashes. All of the troops charge into each other. Paladin leading the way with that encourage aura, keeping our troops alive despite the phase demise here. And now the troops are going to collide here. We have spearmen charging into the beast slayers of Bastogne. Look at these guys with their nice ringlets on their helms. We do have some foot squires still in here. The Grail Relic in the back at such low health, but still staying alive. And now the Air Corps is charging in. Disarray in my forces, but again, Grail Relic providing that anti-terror, immune to psychology. Otherwise, my troops would be in full retreat right now, but they're not. Paladin able to hammer away at this Empire Captain and take him down. That's an Empire Captain down. And now Boris is starting to get routed. I charge my Paladin right at Boris. Gets a charge in, and Boris is at such low health at this point. 661 getting chunked down. Another hit by the Paladin, 389, and Boris is in retreat. And now it's all down to the Light Wizard. Boris might be able to regroup if his Light Wizard comes back up. But again, the Grail Relic, that immune to psychology, keeping our troops in the fight. And now it's just the Paladin and the handgunners here. Not the Paladin, the handgunners. The the Light Wizard and the handgunners. And we do have the Spearmen turning tail and running despite the encourage from the Light Wizard. Boris has regrouped, but leadership is dropping as the Light Wizard falls away. And they're starting to rout here. Full rout for the Empire. Grail Relic and Paladin saving the day here. Going to run the troops off the field. Boris coming in for one final charge. And he's going to charge and try and kill that Grail Relic. Actually, does land on the Paladin, do a decent amount of damage. But he's not going to be able to do much here as the rest of his troops runs. He is scared away and runs as well. And a huge down-to-the-wire victory for Bretonnia. Absolutely insane match that I had last night. All right, so let's see if we have finishes here. All right, so we do have a round one finish of the Wood Elves versus Norska. So we're going to get that loaded up for you guys as soon as we can. So let's just switch to that for a moment here and get teams setting up. I hope you all enjoyed that replay originally. That was a very fun match to play. I thought I was done for, but somehow managed to come back. And let's get that replay. Replays. All right, we do have the replay. So now let's see if we... Let's get the stream back. Main game and... Round 1 between the Wood Elves and Norska. So this is going to be 3v3. I believe Norska did not have 4 players, or one of the players was having issues with the computer, so this is going to be a 3v3. Now, I haven't had much chance. I did not pre-order originally because I wasn't super excited for Norska. It's cool in the sense that I can play against them, but I don't really feel like playing as them, so I didn't pre-order. So I haven't had a chance to play with them, so I don't know a whole lot about them, but I definitely have played a lot with the Wood Elves. So now it's going to take a little while as it loads all of the units up. And it looks like here we're into the battle. So it's a ton of troops on the field. We'll see. I hope my computer can handle this decently well. We might have to go into slow motion a few times, but we're hoping. So we're in slow motion here. We have Wild Riders with shields, a whole ton of them. Wild Hunters of Kurnos here, providing that plus 36% physical resistance. Very, very powerful. Going to need that. It's in an area around them. I think it's 30 meters. Deepwood Scouts with Swift Shiver Shards, who are hidden, probably hoping to get some nice hidden volleys in there. And they do have the Hawkeyes of Drakira, Way Watchers, with their armor sundering and their smoke bomb in case cav or troops get too close to them. Wardens of Sithril, the Wildwood Rangers in the front line, looking pretty cool here. It looks like we do have a huge air force here. 2 Forest Dragons, Glady on a dragon, and a Spellsinger of Life. That might be one person where they spent most of their money. Here we have Durthu. We have a whole bunch of Eternal Garb of Shields. The Winter Heart Guards with that Unbreakable, definitely needed in the front line. We have the Wildwood Rangers, more Wildwood Rangers in the background. And we do have the Firebark Elders, definitely looking really cool, but I don't know how useful they'll be since I don't think Norska, I mean, they're ice. They don't have much fire damage, so we'll have to see if that's actually put to good use. And we have some Glade Guard with Starfire Shafts in the front and Orion leading the charge here. On the enemy side, on Norska's side, we have Norskan Ice Wolves on the side. We have Armored Skin Wolves and Regiment of Renown, Maws of Savagery. So let's see what they have here. Let's see. They got Frenzy, Regeneration, Immune to Psychology. So the Regeneration, I mean, they do have a weakness against fire damage, but the Tree Bark Elders are certainly not going to be catching up to these Maws of Savagery here. So now, yeah, it looks like that's what we have on this flank. We got more Skin Wolves, and we do have a Skin Wolf Werekin hero leading the charge here. We have the Beasts of Tashnar, Norskan Warhounds, Regiment of Renown with Immune to Psychology, Frenzy, and Vanguard deployment, which they didn't end up using. I mean, they didn't really need to in this case since they didn't have any other Vanguard stuff. We can see a whole bunch of... we have Icehorn Marauders and more Marauders here. We have Throg the Troll King. We got Fimir Balefiend here. Fimir Balefiend. We have Brutes of the Hound here. These guys looking pretty fierce. Marauder Berserkers with their nice glowing axes. We have Marauder Berserkers, and we do have a War Mammoth. This is looking pretty cool. I haven't seen many of these units, so... Marauder Berserkers in the front line. We got some Marauder Hunters with Javelins. Take out some large. Going to be very useful against the Dragons. And then on this side, we have a whole bunch of Marauder Champions. Fimir Warriors. We got more Marauder Hunters with Javelins. Wulfric the Wanderer on a War Mammoth there. Marauder Champions. And we do have 2 units of Norskan Ice Wolves and 2 units of Skin Wolves. So as we zoom back over on this side of the battlefield, we'll get ready for the initial engagement here as we see a lot of the Wood Elf forces charging in. We see the Wild Riders charging into the Norskan Ice Wolves, absolutely destroying them, taking so much damage. Hitting Quickshiver Shards, going to be pouring shots into the Skin Wolves who are armored, but they don't have armor piercing, so it's not going to be doing as much, but still taking a lot of damage. And we can now see... the Forest Dragon charging in here. Ton of action going on. We can see Wild Riders probably getting hit with some healing or something go down here. But now as cavalry reinforcements charge in, the Wild Riders are taking a ton of damage. See more shots from the Quickshiver Shards. Or Swift Shiver Shards. Not Quickshiver. Swift Shiver Shards pouring in here. Looks like the Norskins weren't expecting this, and they get ambushed, but because they don't have armor piercing, they're going to be too muted effect, considering a lot of these are armored Skin Wolves. Now, the Wild Hunters of Kurnos are not going to be having a fun time in this engagement over here. And we do have Forest Dragons. We'll see where they decide to charge in. Okay, no, not double speed. That's not what I wanted to do. And it looks like, oh no, we had Flesh to Stone plus 60 armor. And now we do, but since they're right on the corner of the map, the routing Skinwolves Regiment are renowned there ended up having to charge right off the map. But now as the Dragons charge in, terror kicks in, a lot of the units are starting to rout here. Good engagement for the Wood Elves, not much going on the other sides of the line. Swift Shiver Shards pouring into the armored Skinwolves, and Wild Riders getting a nice rear charge into these Maws of Savagery. Now, Wild Riders are good against infantry, not necessarily large, so they're not going to be doing that well. And it would have been nice to have potentially the Regiment of Renowned War Dancers for their stock that they could have back here and then stalked all the way up and ready to help in this engagement. Unfortunately, most of the Wood Elf Cavalry force is going to be taken out here because this isn't a very favorable engagement. Although they are doing well because of numbers, it's not very favorable. And now we do see Swift Shiver Shards firing into Throg, but Throg is decently armored, and he's not a huge target, so he's not going to be taking too much damage. I think that would have been better spent firing at these Icehorn Marauders Regiment of Renown. Alright, I guess it's doing a decent amount of damage. But he does switch targets as he sees it isn't doing enough, and you can see a huge chunk into those Marauders due to the fact that with their Swift Shiver Shards, they're firing in two arrows at once, so they're going to be doing a lot more damage. And we can see a net falling down on Throg, although it doesn't seem like he's actually... Oh, yeah, now he's netted. So he is stopped, but as the Glady was about to charge in there, it looks like they're going to pull away as the Norscan reinforcements come in. You can see a lot of the cavalry still left alive, thankfully, but we do have the Maws of Savagery, the armored Skinwolves, coming back in here. See Wild Hunters of Kurnos managing to come back from routing. And elsewhere on the battlefield, we see Orion's ability, the Hounds of Orion, in the front line of the broader champions here. We see the Glade Guard with Starfire Shafts firing in. And now we have the Fimir Warriors with great weapons going to be leading the charge here. Looking pretty cool. I haven't seen these guys before. Don't know much of their lore, but looking pretty cool. And now they're going to get ready to meet with the front lines of the Wood Elves. 36% resistance only affects Lords and Heroes. Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, thank you for correcting me there. 36% resistance from the Wild Hunters of Kurnos does only affect Lords and Heroes because they're meant to be the personal guard of Orion, and it doesn't affect everyone around them. That's a very good point. Thank you for pointing that out. That was my mistake. And now we can see Forest Dragon flying overhead. It looks like they might still be trying to get Throg. Now, Throg is taking a lot of damage. The Hawkeyes of Drakira doing a ton of damage here, especially with the minus 22% missile resistance from the net. Very well played. And the armor sundering arrows to weaken that armor even further. You can see Throg is not doing so hot here, already taking a half health. And it looks like we might have two Forest Dragons charging in here. Glady taking some shots. We do have a Forest Dragon charging in into the Marauders, trying to weaken them down here. Now, Throg does manage to pull out of the way of that volley. And now we have Deepwood Scouts with Swift Shiver Shards getting screened by the Glady over here. We have more Waywatchers firing into, or the same Waywatchers, Hawkeyes of Drakira firing into Throg. And we have Swift Shiver Shards firing into the Skinwolf Werekin. I don't think that's really the best target since he's a pretty small target. But, okay, so let's see what's going on. Otherwise here, yeah, we do have the Regiment of Renown. Soul Crusher War Mammoth. Let's see what his unique stats are. In range, plus 44% damage resistance for 11 seconds. Does this guy have that? No, he doesn't. Oh, War Mammoth War Shrine. Aha. Okay, so I don't know much about the mammoths here, but we can see the mammoths making their way towards the Wood Elf lines. As with the rest of the infantry, now it's going to be a bit of an uneven engagement as these guys can't get in range as fast as the left flank of their army. Looks like we're going to have Wulfric trying to make his way around. And we do have Fimir Warriors with great weapons charging into the Treekin. Now, this is not a very good engagement for the Treekin. As you can see, the Fimir Warriors have armor sundering, bonus versus large, and armor piercing. Terrible engagement for the Treekin. They should be pulled out immediately and Wildwood Rangers brought in because that's really bad for them. Fimir Warriors with great weapons over here also going to be tearing into the Treekin. We have Firebark Elders getting ready to join the fray. We see Winterheart Guards. And now, Treekin, not the best against Soul Crusher. They're not really going to be doing much there, only tying down one unit. And it looks like we have a spell going off. Looks like a Viking warship. I don't know which spell this is. again, since I haven't played much Norska. But we have a Viking warship just a little bit off. If it was down this line a little bit more, would have been way more devastating, but it was a tiny bit off target there and isn't going to do as much as a result. Although it does chunk those Glade Guard with Starfire shafts and these Wildwood Rangers pretty strongly. I think it would have been nice if he was able to pour it in this way and then be able to chunk a lot of these Winterheart Guards with shields here, because that would have done a ton of damage there. Now, if I were the Wood Elves here, I'd be trying to just pour all damage into the Soul Crusher with the arrows here. And let's go and check what's happening on this side of the field. Looks like almost on the bounce here we have, what's his name here? Fimmer, Balefiend. We have a whole huge engagement here. Now, the archers are right on the edge, so if they start getting, if they start routing, they're going to be pushed right off the map here. We can see Forest Dragon charging in on the Skin Wolf Werkin, who's taking a ton of damage, and it looks like most of the Norscan forces on this side of the map have routed. Throg is not doing so hot there after taking so many hits from the Hawkeyes of Drakira. They have more Deepwood Scouts with Swift Shiver Shards shooting into the Skin Wolf Werkin. So definitely looks like a victory for the Wood Elves on this flank. Although they have taken a lot of damage, they have managed to come out on top with a decent amount of units remaining. So that's going to be good for the Wood Elves, but it's all going to come down to this main engagement here, as so many lines clash together. And you can see in the background, we have those 2 units of Skin Wolves and 2 units of Norscan Ice Wolves that were all the way over on the right flank, going to be pulled up and around. And they're just going to be charging right into the rear of all of these units. Probably it would be best, I guess, maybe 1 unit against Wildwood Rangers, although the Wildwood Rangers are anti-large. So may not be the best target, but all these archers here just charge them straight in and absolutely decimate these archers. We can see warriors fleeing over here as Wulfric the Wanderer comes charging in, absolutely decimating these Treekin and Wildwood Rangers. They're going to be fleeing pretty quickly. We have a lot of buffs going on here. Sword of Daith, minus 30 armor. We also do have Flock of Doom coming down onto these Norskins as the Wood Elves try and stem the tide, but we have a War Mammoth charging through the lines. And we have Orion's Rain, I think it was like Arrow Rain or Rain of Arrows or something. And here we go. We have Norscan Ice Wolf charging into the Glade Guard. Looks like the Wood Elves missed it. They have a unit of Eternal Guard standing right here, but they didn't turn around in time. Micro was not there. And now these Glade Guards are going to become snacks. And it looks like a lot of the Wood Elf forces on this flank are managing to turn around and come over and trying to help the engagement here. If these Deepwood Scouts with Swift Shiver Shards could reposition just a little bit and shoot some shots into these Brutes of the Hound, that would be great for them. Great for the Wood Elves, take them out of the fray, but it looks like he's going to pull units back, as it seems like some of the Norskins have regrouped. Looks like we have some Maws of Savagery charging at the Deepwood Scouts, who are charging towards them almost, and they're going to be taking some huge hits from this, taking quite a bit of damage, but the Glady on the Forest Dragon is going to be charging in and routing that from the battlefield. Two Forest Dragons over here trying to finish off these Icehorn Marauders. Yeah, Icehorn Marauders, trying to get them off the field. We have Wild Riders coming in. Charging after a already broken unit, or are they charging after these guys? If they're charging after the broken unit, definitely needs to switch targets there. And now over here, it looks like the arrow fire from the Wood Elves has brought the Soul Crusher down so low. I think it would be definitely be worth it here. Oh, they don't have the arrow fire. Their arrows have already been taken care of. Right. It would definitely be worth it if they could have just finished it off. He's so close to dead. Whew. This is going to shape up to be a very close battle. It looks like it's a tiny bit in the Wood Elves' favor, but the center is not holding very well here, as the Fimir warriors with great weapons are absolutely destroying these Treekin. Not a good engagement for them. And their front line is getting ravaged by these Norscan Ice Wolves. And we have a spell coming through here. Looks like he's trying to take that Viking ship and pour it right through these guys. Was there a better target for that? It actually doesn't look like it if he doesn't want to hit his own warriors. But unfortunately, it's still, again, going to be a little bit off target. He's going to be hitting some of his own units. Doesn't look like he's doing much damage to the Eternal Guard with shields here. Hopefully he's able to do something. Yeah, taking Glade Guard with Starfire Shafts, taking quite a chunk there. And now we have more shots firing into Wulfric the Wanderer here. Now we have Marauder Hunters with Javelins firing in. It looks like they're trying to hit Orion, but that's not the best target as he's being kind of screened by the War Mammoth, and the War Mammoth might be taking some of those shots. But it looks like since Orion is kind of surrounded, doesn't look like he's going to survive this engagement here. Wulfric is tearing him to pieces right now, along with the Javelins. And a lot of the Norscan forces are surrounding, and this might cause a huge rout for the Wood Elves, as most of their allied forces are still over here. Forest Dragons charging in, pedal to the metal, just trying to get over to this side of the engagement. Oh yeah, why did I say armor sundering? I didn't mean to say armor sundering. How did armor sundering on no, they don't have armor sundering. I don't know why I said that. I know they have discourage. I was just playing with them yesterday. I don't know why I said armor sundering. Yes, they do have discourage, not armor sundering. So it's basically kind of like the Goblobber, where they do have a discourage effect on connection. They don't have armor sundering. That was my mistake again. I don't even know why I said that, since I was playing with them yesterday. But yes, they do have discourage, which is nice. I don't know if there are any of them left, though. Are they still around, or have they been routed? It looks like they've mostly been routed here. Now, is the Soul Crusher, doesn't look like he's coming back. He's at 2 low health. But it looks like the Wood Elves might struggle to take the victory here, as there are still so many units of Norskin still up. And now here we see a cavalry charge from the Wild Riders. This is going to be pretty devastating against the Marauder Hunters, who they do have anti-large, but it's only with their missiles. They don't have it with their melee attacks. Wild Rider is going to be charging right into the flank of the Marauder Hunters, although there aren't as many of them, which is unfortunate, because they got wiped in that initial engagement, took a lot of damage there. Fortunately, they're not going to do as much as they could have to the Marauder Hunters with javelins. It looks like the Wild Hunters of Kurnos going to be charging at these Norscan Ice Trolls, and just that effect there of them charging in, they got there, I believe, is that fear or terror? I believe that's, yeah, they cause fear, nullifying that leadership, and Trolls, not known for their high leadership, are going to be running from the battlefield pretty quickly here. But still, we do have 2 half-health Mammoths. The Forest Dragons and the Gladiator are going to have to try and carry heal, and they also do have the Skin Wolf Werekin, which is going to be charging into the back of these Deepwood Scouts. Not where they want to be. It doesn't look like our friend notices them here, although he's actually just going to charge around. It looks like he's just going to try and regroup with the rest of his forces. We do have another spell going down here. Wissen's Wild Form on the Wood Elves, trying to keep them together. We have a cavalry charge coming into these Marauder Berserkers, going to send them routing from the field. Super close here. Might be tipping a little bit more in the Wood Elves' favor, as a lot of the Norskins are starting to rout. We can see these Marauder Hunters with javelins getting absolutely destroyed, as these Wild Hunters of Kurnos charge in support of the initial Wild Rider charge. This is getting really, really close. Swift Shiver Shards pouring shots into the War Mammoth War Shrine here. And he's going to have to start pulling that away, lest they be taken out here. And it looks like the Firebark Elders, at such low health, 2 of them left with 170 health, are going to try and make a comeback here. Try and floor Wulfric. Well, that's going to be pretty hard, since he's on a Mammoth. But it looks like now the Wood Elves have the upper hand, just a tiny bit, although there is still these Marauder Hunters with javelins with quite a bit of health left. And I think it's going to rely on this middle engagement here. Will Durthu get killed, or will he stand? It looks like he might stand, since a lot of the Norscan forces are routing. We do have a Marauder Chieftain in full retreat, and we do also have Throg just still chilling over here. Looks like they forgot about Throg, which is really unfortunate for the Norskins, because if Throg was in here, he'd actually be able to do something. But he's all the way over there. No way he's getting near the battle again. Looks like Orion, still standing here, manages to survive his encounter with Wulfric. And it looks like the Wood Elves have won this middle engagement here, and they're going to try and send all of their units over this way to surround. Actually, I don't know what they're doing right now. Looks like they're maybe an Earthblood. What is this spell that's going to be coming down here? Sorry about that, folks. Looks like we had a disconnection there. Not exactly sure what happened. But it looks like the Wood Elves are going to take the victory here in a very Pyrrhic victory. Lots of losses on all sides. And it looks like in the chat we have confirmation from Helljumper here that Chaos was victorious against the Empire. So let's take a look at the stats here. Orion, looks like Unearth's force was a lot of the bulk of the force here. A lot of the Treekin, a lot of the Firebark Elders, who you don't expect to get a lot of kills here. That was Unearth. Sugar Davy, he brought the Glade Lord, the 2 Forest Dragons, the Spellslinger of Life on the Eagle, and a lot of the cavalry. and Draconite in here with a lot of the archers. Looks like they split up their army very well, each person doing a different role, and they managed to pull it off quite nicely here. We have the Norskin Soul. He had the Marauder Chieftain, and I think he had a decent amount of the cavalry. Looks like he had the Maws of Savagery, War Mammoth, War Shrine. Now, also in this tournament, only one regiment of renown. Like, each regiment of renown could only be taken once per player. So, or not per player, per team. So we couldn't have 3 of the same regiment of renown running around. They had to split them up, which is good, I believe. I'm pretty sure, or I believe that is a very good thing. We wouldn't want 3 OP regiments of renown running around. Fimir Warriors with great weapons, doing very good work to those Treekin, but Treekin still managed to hold the line with that Earthblood coming in clutch. And unfortunately, Wurzel with Throg and Throg getting chunked down really early, but not being brought into the fight, which I think was a bit of a mistake there. Skinwolves, who are armored still with quite a bit of health left. Beast of Tashnar, I think he was the one with most of the initial engagement there with the Wild Riders. What else took a ton of damage in that engagement? The Wild Riders took so much damage in that initial engagement there. But they did manage to come out on top and then pull back a lot. Their Forest Dragons still had so much health. The Javelins needed to be focused on the Forest Dragons. That was like the only large targets on the field. Unfortunately, they weren't in a position to do so. I think upon seeing those Forest Dragons, all those guys, the people on the flank, or Wurzel on the flank here, should have pulled his troops a little bit back, get those Javelins closer so they could have hit those Forest Dragons. But yeah, I think that's going to seal the deal for the first battle here. And let's see if we have any more replays coming in. So let me just put up the old setting up screen here. Hope you all enjoyed that that first match. And yes, we do have confirmation from Helljumper that the Chaos was victorious versus the Empire. If you guys are having issues with the stream or any problems, go ahead and tell me. I don't know what's going on here. Looks like we're having some... my internet doesn't appear to be dropping. OBS is just having connection issues. Hold on, I'm just going to take off my sweater and turn off the heater in my room. Hold on, we're going to try and adjust some settings here. Hopefully that'll make it. Okay, hopefully this, I adjusted the bit rate, put it down a bit. Hopefully that'll fix some of the issues here and we won't have constant disconnects. Yeah, I think, yeah, I do agree. Limiting the ROI was probably a very good idea. And yeah, Empire and Dwarfs spamming a lot of those could be spamming a lot of those regiments of renown. Especially the what were the regiment around Demigriffs called? The regiment around Demigriff Knights with halberds could in force, they could definitely be a huge problem for anti-large teams. For teams with a lot of large, I mean not anti-large teams. All right, so it does look like we do have a replay coming in from Chaos. So we're going to be hopping into the next battle here. Okay, so let's get back to the game. and hopping in for Chaos versus the Empire. Pippington heading up the Empire here. The Empire's got a lot of very good players on their team. They got Pippington on Jiage, and I believe they also have... I think they also have... I don't remember his name. Unfortunately, but they do have some very good players, although playing a 3v3 is a lot different than playing a 1v1. Just because you're skilled in a 1v1 doesn't mean your team will play OBS. Looks like we're having more OBS issues here. Hopefully that'll... Okay, looks like hopefully we're stable for now. I really apologize for these issues, guys. I wasn't having these issues when I was doing some streaming stuff yesterday, just practicing and making sure we're good for today, but looks like we're having some issues drop. I know my internet connection is fine. I'm not losing connection, but that's annoying. All right, so let's pop it into slow motion. I'm going to check back every minute, every like 2 minutes or so, make sure we're not dropping connection anymore. So it looks like we do have some Empire Knights on the side here. We have Zintler's Reichsguard. We have the Royal Altdorf Griffites, Flagellants, Greatsword, Spearmen. Got typical Flagellants in the front line with the Tattersouls and Sigmar Sons. Flagellants, I don't know if they're necessarily... I don't think they're necessarily a really good choice against Chaos, especially because Chaos is known for their armor. So I don't think Flagellants are going to be doing much here unless they're just facing Marauders, which actually they are facing a decent amount. But it looks like we have some Reichsguard on the right flank here. More Empire Knights, Celestial Wizard on horseback. We have some Demigryph Knights with halberds. Got Spearmen. Just more typical Empire units. And they do have the Hammer of the Witches. They got great cannon. They're going to be starting to fire. Silver bullets. More handgunners. We do have an Arch Lector on a steed here. And we have Boris Todbringer. And who else do we have? We have... Where's the other leader? What lord am I missing here? Arch Lector, Boris Todbringer. Where's that other lord? Am I blind? What's going on? Aha, he's hidden in the tree here. No, that's a light wizard. Ah, here he is. Volkmar the Grim. All right, now moving over to Chaos's side, we have Chaos Warhounds with poison. We have the Swords of Chaos protecting Archaon here. I believe this is Kurnos since he loves playing Archaon. So the Swords of Chaos and Archaon here. Nice new regiments are renowned for Chaos. We have Dragon Ogre Shaggoth. We have some Chaos Warhounds with poison. Another Dragon Ogre Shaggoth. And we have a Chaos Lord. We have Forsaken here in the front line. Chaos Warriors with great weapons. Weird Spawn. Definitely these guys look pretty dang cool. A completely different color scheme than normal Chaos Spawn. Looking pretty cool with that. We have Forsaken. Mirror Guard. Mirror Guard also look really Okay, hold on here. Really apologize for this, guys. I do not know what's going on. So let me just pause this and let me pause this for a second here and see if I can troubleshoot some issues here. Might just be my internet's not doing so hot today for some reason. It doesn't look like we're not having full disconnects, but with OBS we are, but not my internet connection, which is weird. All right, well, for now, we'll get back into it here. We'll hop into play and see a lot of units on the Empire side. We're looking at 2,400 versus 1,800 here. And Cannon's chunking down this Chaos Sorcerer of Death who is mounted. He's taking some huge hits here. The accuracy of the Hammer of the Witches and the fully upgraded Great Cannon are going to be doing some huge damage to this Chaos Sorcerer of Death. And now we start to see the lines moving towards each other once again. Actually, you know what might help? Hold on, let me set... Where's OBS in my task manager? Maybe I can set the priority higher, and that might... Holy cow, if I can find it in this list. Bloody hell. OBS, yeah, let me, hold on. Okay, so we set the priority to high, hopefully for OBS. Hopefully that will fix some of the issues and we won't have constant disconnects with OBS. If you're wondering, I keep saying OBS, it's an online broadcasting software. It's like an encoder that allows me to actually set up the stream and stuff. So it looks like we have... Alright, we got a lot of action going down really quickly here. Swords of Chaos trying to charge in, but we do have a beautiful net of Ammontok coming down from a Light Wizard here. And now we have a lot of handgunners. This is not good. A lot of handgunners pouring shots into the Swords of Chaos while they are netted. This is not good for Chaos. And we have... But the Chaos does have a lot of other cavalry units here. Hopefully they can get charging around the back, sending them around, and hopefully... just taking out these handgunners. They could also do... Actually, they do have Demigryph Knights here, so they have some quick defense here. Swords of Chaos are taking quite a bit of damage here. If it was a upgraded net of Ammontok, that would be even worse because they'd be stuck for so long. And it looks like we do have some engagements over here. Looks like we had an initial cavalry charge by Zintler's Reichsguard and the normal Reichsguard here as they charged in and pulled back out, doing quite a bit of damage to these characters. Although, thankfully, the Chaos Marauders were actually in the front line, so they shielded the rest of the elite troops from the huge charge here. And it looks like we do have the Fate of... Oh, this is bad news. Fate of Buna casted down on Zintler's Reichsguard. That's going to be doing so much damage, and I don't think they're going to be standing up for very long after that. We do see Hammer of the Witches and the fully upgraded Great Cannon firing right into the face of Kolek, who's going to be taking some huge hits. And probably going to be chunked pretty dang quickly. And now we see over on this side, lines clashing once again. We see more cavalry charges, Empire Knights charging in, pulling back out. Not being very effective on this side. Doing a decent amount of damage, not super effective. And it looks like it was an extended cast. Swords of Chaos getting tied down for super long. They're going to be down to half health. It might even be 2 nets. Like it might have another. No, I don't think it's 2 nets. Potentially, but Swords of Chaos taking so much damage. Absolutely obliterated here. Definitely not what Chaos wants to see. And now Flagellants engage. And finally, the net is gone and the swords might be able to pull out. But no, they're going to charge back in. Archaon slamming in here to try and block the retreat from the Swords of Chaos. And Archaon might be pulling out soon. And now we see 2 Dragon Ogre Shaggoths. And we have a Chaos Lord and Chaos Warhounds going to town on these Demigryph Knights. Doing so much damage to the Demigryph Knights. Okay, so, well, that was a good period of time at least before it disconnected initially there. Hopefully it wasn't down for that long. Bloody hell. I'm going to have to do a lot of research and figure out how to fix these problems. It might just be my internet having an off day, or it could be settings that are not optimal. Looks like we're up for now, so I guess we'll keep going here. In slow motion, looks like we have weird spawn here, Chaos Warriors with great weapons. Flagellants. So we do have Melkos mystifying Miasma pot. Hitting these handgunners here, going to be chunking them down a little bit. Let's hop back into play as the action keeps moving here. We have Chaos Warhounds with poison into the flank of the Silver Bullets. We have Reichsguard right here, but they're not in time to react, and they're going to be taking so much damage here. Silver Bullets, definitely not a unit that you want to be taken out. Ah! Jeez. Okay, hold on. Do I have any other applications I can close down here? Maybe we'll close down Discord for now. Close down the task manager, keep minimal things running. Close down my normal YouTube page, Reddit, some other pages, and see if that helps us. Yikes, okay. Slow motion. Alright, so we have Kolek Suneater. Looks like he was chunked pretty far with those cannons and took so much damage there. Looks like he's going to be running from the battlefield pretty dang soon. We have a huge... don't recall what the spell was called. I think that was cast by the Arch. No, that was cast by Volkmar the Grim. Banishment or something like that. And see Volkmar the Grim at very, very full health, but pulsing back in. We have a Pit of Shades, I think, coming down here on the Empire line. Looks like it might be a pretty decent spot to cast it. We'll have to see how much damage it ends up doing in the end here. Looks like it's going to chunk down these Spearmen pretty hard. Unfortunately, it's not going to hit many of these Greatswords. We have another cast by Kolek Suneater, nailing down these Spearmen. We have Reichsguard now charging in. It looks like they did quite a bit of damage to those Spearmen. Definitely good for them, and it looks like we're having a massive scram on this sidelines here. But a lot of the Chaos has routed, and a lot of the Empire's coming. Actually, looks like Chaos forces were mostly diverted. A lot of the Empire is a lot of the Empire is here, though, and it looks like they're going to be chasing off that Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, taking it down, and now a Chaos Lord on his mount is running, trying to get away from the enemy here. Looks like this Light Wizard's going to get destroyed. It looks like he is terrified by the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth and Archaon. We have Forsaken charging in here to weather the storm and charge into the flank of these, charge into the face of these Spearmen. Looks like we have the Swords of Chaos, Great Cannon, Chaos Lord going out of here. Great Cannon not going to be doing very well in this engagement. We have Reichsguard running from the field. Looks like a lot of returning Empire units. Chaos does still have a lot of forces left, though. Actually, it's pretty neck and neck. But a lot of the Chaos forces are stronger unit for unit than the Empire forces. So it looks like the Chaos definitely have the upper hand here. A massive engagement of Chaos. Definitely don't need all these units on one unit of Greatswords here. Looks like Volkmar the Grim charging in here. Looks like he was hit. Grand Shield of Faith, plus 22% damage resistance. But looks like it's going to be wasted as the units are routing right as he casts it. And it looks like he's going to be taking quite a bit of damage here. But we do have Hammer of the Witches firing in, trying to push this mob back that's charging forward. And Chaos is surging forward here. This is really bad for the Empire. Looks like they are on the ropes. Let's slow-mo and take a look at what's going on elsewhere in the battlefield here. Looks like we have the Silver Bullets here. Definitely low health as they took a few cav charges, but they still have quite a bit of ammo left. Same with the handgunners. And it looks like Chaos is going to try and push out with their remaining cav forces. Looks like even after that initial destruction of the Swords of Chaos, they're still going to manage to stay alive and have quite a bunch of their units left. I think, what is it? They have 11 out of 18. Yeah, they've only lost 7, and they're at such low health. That's pretty good for them. But it looks like another net of Ammontok does go down. Looks like the Light Wizard was able to get away from Archaon and the Dragon Ogre. And now the Dragon Ogre is going to take so many hits from the Silver Bullets and the Handgunners. This is bad news for Chaos. But over here on this flank, a ton of Chaos Force still remaining. Weird Spawn. We got Chaos Sorcerer. We have Chaos Warriors with great weapons. Chosen. Lots of Chosen at full health. This is really bad news. And it looks like we're having a cast. I think this might be Volkmar casting. Or no, it's probably... I don't know who's casting here. I'll have to see what the spell is. Might be a banishment from Volkmar. Yeah, banishment. I think that's banishment. Looks like Handgunner is getting weathered down by Melkos minimizing miasma, and we do have a Lord going down. I think that was the Archlector finally falls there, getting taken out, and with it routs a lot of the Empire forces on this side. Looks like Chaos is mostly cleaning up here. They've got so many units left. Empire, not so much. Well, they have about the same amount of units, but the Empire units, as I said, are worse unit for unit. Like, Chaos still has a lot of elite units left. In Empire, it's just a lot of dinky guys. Looks like massive scrum, and let's speed it up a little bit here. Looks like we do have the Empire Knights doing their best to try and just cycle charge here, but a lot of the Empire units are running from the field. Empire does have a decent amount of cav, but very low health on these units. They're going to completely wreck those Warhounds. Just rout them right away. Looks like Empire does have... Yeah, they have a lot of cav left. They have a good cav force, but Chaos has a ton of other units left. And what's being cast here? Curse the Midnight Wind. I would only cast that if they were being charged into, but they're not right now. Although, actually, now they are. Looks like we have Reichsguard trying to cut them off, but they're going to pull out. So this... Curse of the Midnight Wind is going to be mostly wasted. Looks like we have a huge bandwagon here charging for Volkmar the Grim as he tries to get away in his chariot. He's going to be faster than most of Chaos here, so it looks like he's probably going to end up getting away. Or he's just going to lead him on a goose chase forever, and it looks like we do have Zintler's Reichsguard and the rest of the Cav moving in to try and keep him alive. Looks like he's going to put up the Grand Shield of Faith again, plus damage resistance. And now Empire Knight's going to slam into the flank of these Chaos Warriors with great weapons. Or not. They're going to just move slowly and then pull back. Oh, that would have been nice if they managed to charge, but they didn't. Looks like a decent amount of Chaos units are routing, but a lot of the Empire's already gone. 622 to 420. Volkmar is getting completely surrounded here. Looks like they just surround Volkmar, try and take him out, and then try and weather the Cav charges here, because that's all the Empire's left besides these few units that are charging back in. Getting hit with Melkos Mystifying Miasma. Definitely not really the target you want to hit with that. It's good against multi-targets, not single targets. We do have a charge from the Empire Knights coming in here, charging into these Chaos Warriors with great weapons. We have a randomly cast Banishment over here, hitting nothing. Looks like that was a mistake. Volkmar the Grim still managing to get out somehow. Although the Empire, it looks like the Chaos turned and focused on the Empire Knights. So Empire Knights getting routed from the field as more Cav does charge in, though. Volkmar the Grim going gun-ho, charging into the Chaos lines here. Looks like we do have a Dragon Ogre Shaggoth going down, but the Empire, for the most part, is starting to lose ground here. Volkmar the Grim trying to get back into the fray, but a lot of the Knights are routing, and we do have Chaos Warhounds with Poison on their flank, in the rear, nipping them in the butt here, making sure they can't regroup. Smartly, Chaos is running their units from the field. Don't want these Cav coming back. Just get them out of here. Looks like Volkmar is going to be the only one left here. I believe he is unbreakable. Yes, he is unbreakable, definitely. Standing strong in his faith, unfortunately, it will not be enough as Volkmar is going to get cut down by the massive force of Chaos that still remains. And a valiant defeat for the forces of the Empire, Chaos managing to take the victory there in a not as close as the other one, but it was still pretty close in a very exciting battle. Nonetheless, let's take a look at the stats. Pippington bringing in a lot. Looks like he had the Great Cannons, he had the Handgunners, and the Knights, and he had just a little bit of the front line here, bringing Archlector and Light Wizard. Shetland Apache. Oh, they didn't have Onjaga here. Diplomat, that was the name I was forgetting. Volkmar the Grim, Celestial Wizard, a lot of Flagellants. I don't think Flagellants were the best choice against Chaos. See, they did not really do that well across the board. Great Swords, doing decently. Tattersouls actually did pretty well, though. Diplomat, looks like he brought all of the Cav force. He was the main Cav guy. A lot of his Cav survived pretty late on into the match, but unfortunately, as you can see by the numbers here, were not able to be utilized to their full potential. Okay, yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, maybe I just have the stream up to view the chat here, but we'll just pop out the chat here and then Okay, yeah, so we'll close that down. Yeah, so I think that's going to do it for game 2, I think that was that one. So now we'll go back into setting up. Yeah, that was probably some of the problems, was having myself watching the stream in the background there. So we'll make sure to not do that. We just have the chat popped up here in its own little box. And now we're going to take a look and see what other matches we have to cast here. So yeah, just please stand by and we'll be back shortly. All right, folks, does look like we have a Dwarfs versus Norska match coming up here. So let's get ready to get cracking here. Let me get into the replays. Let's adjust the stream. Back to the main game. And now, let's hop into Dwarfs versus Norska. So we have Dwarf Bob named adequately, leading the Dwarves here. And we have Gojira leading Norska. We have already seen Norska fight once, and now we're going to get to see him fight again against the Dwarves. Before we hop into this here, I'm just going to grab my water bottle. And we're just going to let this load. It shouldn't be too much longer, I don't believe. Yeah, and here we go. Loaded in. Okay, so let's take a look at the forces. We got Beast of Tashnar with the Norscan Warhounds over on the flank. We got Brutes of the Hound. We got more Fimir Warriors, not with great weapons this time. Looks like even though we're still not watching the stream or anything now, we still seem to be having a few issues. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. Looks like we have a whole ton of... Okay, hold on. Not in play. A lot of stuff's kicking off here. Okay, hold on. Fimir Warriors, Marauder Hunters. Marauder Hunters, we do have a Feral Mammoth here. Do they have... Yeah, they do have armor piercing, and they are anti-infantry. So I think if they brought one or two more, that would have been really good against the Dwarves. Although, actually, come to think of it, the Dwarves would have cannons, be able to take those guys out. So we'll have to see. Armored Skinwolves, Fimir Warriors. We got Marauder Champions, Marauders with great weapons. Wolfric the Wanderer here on a steed and not on a mammoth. Looks like for the Dwarfs here, we have Rangers with great weapons. Over here, we have Dwarf Warriors. Looks like they're going for another defensive geometry here. Longbeards, Thunderers, Ironbreakers, more Longbeards in the front. Miners with blasting charges. Looks like they do have some Iron Drakes with Trollhammer torpedoes out in the front. Probably looking to take down some of the mammoths that they might have brought, or potentially the Fimir Warriors here. Longbeards with great weapons. We got Dragonback Slayers in the back. We have Rangers and Ulthar's Raiders with Rangers with great weapons. These guys are going to be doing work to their large units. We have Slayers, Dwarf Warriors, Iron Breakers, more Dwarf Warriors, more Dwarf Warriors. And we do have the Goblobber, we have a cannon, and we have a Grudge Thrower and another cannon. Longbeards, and some Quarrelers here. Looks like we do have Ungrim, Iron Fist, Thorgrim, Grudge Bearer. Got a Runesmith, Master Engineer buffing those artillery pieces. You also do have Iron Drakes in the forest and Slayers. And who else do we have? Where's our third lord? He's here somewhere. Here he is. Man, this is going to be the end of me. This is going to be the end of me. These disconnects, I swear. Thankfully, my computer's giving me notifications when we get disconnected, so I can pause the battle and then hop back in after. And now it looks like Quarrelers are firing shots in on the Fimir Warriors, who are taking a ton of damage from that. Don't have any shields or anything. They still are decently armed. You know what might be happening? It might be whenever Warhammer gets laggy, it decides that it's going to kick OBS off to try and pull Warhammer back in. Bet you anything that's probably what's happening. Even though Warhammer's at low priority and OBS is at high, it's just deciding, alright, let's just kick OBS off. So I guess I'll have to be pretty quick on the... if it starts getting too laggy, I'll have to be pretty quick on the pauses. And now the Norskins do approach the Dwarvish geometry here. We have something getting cast. Glittering Robe upgraded. Plus 8 leadership, plus 30 armor. We have a lot of blasting charges pouring in, but due to these guys not having a super packed formation, they're not going to be taking much damage there, although it did break the charge. We have more Quarrelers and such firing into the Feral Mammoth and the Fimir Warriors. And it looks like Slayers are chasing away these armored Skinwolves. And now the lines meet in a huge clash of will here. Iron and steel. Norskin savagery versus Dwarvish bravery as they go head to head to see who will be the victor of the old world here. Looks like we do have Throg trying to go to town here. He's actually quite a bit of health. He's trying to take on Ungrim Iron Fist. Ungrim Iron Fist does have anti-large. He's going to be decent in this engagement. He does armor piercing, anti-large, and Throg does count as large, and he's got some armor, not too much. Looks like we have more shots from the Quarrelers here. Just a huge front line clash, and the cannons are still safe. They haven't managed to break through or get units around yet. A very good defensive geometry here. Keeping, okay, getting a little bit of lag here. Defensive geometry keeping the dwarves from being overwhelmed, although the Norskins are still trying to sneak units around the back here, as you can see. But they did get caught up by the Slayers that were hidden in the bushes, and we do have the Iron Drakes also here. Don't know why the Iron Drakes were back here, because they are just the flamethrower kind, and they would have been good in the fight against the front line. And now let's just pause real quick here, see if we can gather our frames. And it looks like Ekron Miners, the blasting charges here, just a massive scrum in the front line. We have Marauders with great weapons getting ready to retreat, and there's our frames. Or there were our frames. We have Ekron's Miners, or no, these are the Iron Breakers throwing more blasting charges in, hitting Dwarf and Norskin alike with these ones. But mostly Norskins, which is what they need. And it looks like Throg is starting to take quite a bit of damage in the engagement with Ungrim Iron Fist. And now the Norskins pour around from all sides here, still trying to get this cav in, although the Dwarves do have a lot of units in the back protecting. See, they have a nice line here protecting both units of cavalry. But now, as this unit of Dwarf Warriors tries to pull away, maybe they can pull through the breach here. But no, they don't decide to verge off and pull through here. They're going to try and go right through the middle. Not a good move here. And oh, looks like they are going to manage to pull it at the last second here. And are they going to be able to sneak around? Dwarves are not known for their speed, but we do have Dwarvish reinforcements pulling up. But it looks like they're still going to manage to break through. Oh, and they do. Slamming into the back of the Grudge Thrower. Oh, man, this is chaos. Cannons, Quarrelers. This is really bad. Grudge Thrower getting destroyed so quickly here. Viking ship spell charging through. Really bad for the dwarves. And now the Maws of Savagery getting blasted with flamethrowers before charging into the front of the dwarvish line here. And now, oh boy, Norscan Warhounds wreaking having the dwarvish back line. I wouldn't even be going for the front line here. I'd just keep charging after. Iron Drakes, cannons, just quarrelers, take all these guys down. But now they're starting to lose a lot of health, and they're going to be routing now. Just take a quick drink here. Ankvi looks like it's been stable for a little while. Hopefully I don't jinx it and just bring it down right away. Now let's see what's going down here. Looks like we do have Stand Your Ground, Master Rune of Oath and Steel, popped by this Rune Lord, who is still very much at full health. A lot of the dwarvish leadership and heroes are at very high health, where a lot of, let's see, Throg's been taken down to half. Actually, yeah, they're doing, Norska's still doing okay here. Looks like a lot of spells being cast. We have Stand or Die for Chaos here, whereas the dwarves shout Stand Your Ground. Chaos shouts Stand or Die. Let's try and recover some more frames here. In this massive scrum, effects left and right, units firing, everything, destroying my computer. I can feel it. Can't wait till I get a desktop and I'm able to record a lot better. Play Warhammer a lot better. I'm on a pretty high-end laptop, as I did say in one of my past videos, but even so, with the amount of stuff going on, the amount of detail and such, it's still playing a toll on my CPU. Alright. Looks like they didn't, yeah, they did manage to rout those wolves. Feral Mammoth is on the retreat there. Thorgrim, Grudgebearer, Runesmith in the back line, and they've managed to kind of recover here despite that cavalry charge that got through and brought down the Grudge Thrower. At this point, though, the Grudge Thrower wasn't really that useful anyways. They can't do much, considering how close the Norscan forces are. Put it back into play here. Looks like Thorgrim's coming down to encourage his troops that are taking quite a toll here. A massive amount of Norskins piled up here. If this line breaks, it's going to be bad news for the dwarves. Pretty dang close battle. Looks like it's a tiny bit in the dwarves' favor, but numbers are dropping really quickly. Looks like we have dwarvish quarrelers firing at Shaman Sorcerer. Not really the best target, I would say. Oh, the war. Once again, we do have a disconnect. Oh, I apologize, guys. I don't know why this is happening. This didn't happen yesterday, and for some reason it's happening today. My whole internet's not going down. I don't know what's going on. I've adjusted priorities, changed a bunch of settings, and yet we still manage to have issues. Alright, we'll try the bitrate again, see if that does anything. We weren't having these issues originally. Played the whole Chaos battle, and that didn't, or the whole first battle, and we didn't have any issues, and all of a sudden we're having issues. And now this Skinwolf Werekin, not super good micro over here. He's just getting torn into, and he's just standing still, and he's going to be taken out. 2 units of Thunderers. We got Rangers with great weapons just firing at him, and he's going to be routed off the field pretty dang quickly here. We have armored Skinwolves charging in, trying to take out the Quarrelers and the Rangers with great weapons. Master Engineer still back here. A lot of the Dwarven leadership and heroes, again, still very high health. Looks like Norscan units are starting to rout here. It's tipping in the Dwarves' favor. Martyr Hunter's taking a catapult shot to the face. And it looks like the catapults are trying to just run off a lot of the Norscan units. A good choice since there's not much else they can do with them. Looks like we have Stand Your Ground, Master Rune of Oath and Steel, Master Rune of Negation. Dwarves aren't going to be taking much damage at all now, and it looks like Norskins are turning tail and running from the field. And it looks like we're almost wrapped up here. It's, for the most part, it's just this engagement left over here. This engagement just about wrapped up in favor of the dwarves. But it looks like they're going to, due to the dwarves' high morale and armor and melee defense, they're not going to be going that very easily. And as reinforcements charge in, it looks like this might be the end for Norska. As a lot of units die, my frames start to recover. And the stream doesn't go down, which is great. Iron Drakes with Trollhammer torpedoes. Thorgrim Grudgebearer. Runesmith. Still alive at full health. Marauder Chieftain just about dead. And it looks like mass rout for Norska here. And it looks like the Dwarves are going to pull out the victory over Norska. Pyrrhic victory for the Dwarves in that match. So again, apologize for all the disconnects. I don't know what's wrong with my OBS. But we're going to hopefully try and live with it. And hopefully they'll stop happening. So it looks like the Ironbreaker's doing really, really well. Managed to survive. Quite a few of them left. 140. Marauder Chieftains with great weapons. I think a lot of these Marauder... I don't believe Marauder Berserkers have armor piercing. I could be wrong. I don't know much about them since I don't have Norska, but Throg not doing so hot. They're not taking many kills. Godwood Ivy here. Looks like a lot of Slayers. A lot of the... he's got, yeah, a lot of the anti-large units. Grudge Thrower, you got Ungrim, Master Engineer. I think Ungrim was dueling Throg, or dueling someone else most of the time. Don't remember what he was dueling. I think it was Throg. Runesmith's here, and Thorgrim not doing much damage, but just running around the lines, giving out buffs, and making sure the troops hold the line, because that's what they felt, right? It was just like, we just need to hold the line, make sure they can't overwhelm us with their numbers, and just buff up the line, and that's what they did, and they did it very well. Oh, excuse me. Didn't get held up in combat, and they were able to just run around and constantly buff their troops and keep them from breaking. Ironbreakers, again, very good investment here, doing so much work. Looks like a Segron, Marauder Champions, Marauder Hunters, Skinwolves Armored, Fimir Warriors, Marauder, Feral Mammoth, they're not doing so hot. Same with the Maws of Savagery. They got chunked pretty hard. Feral Mammoth got chunked really early on, which is very unfortunate. Caught off guard by those hidden Rangers. Yeah, okay, so disconnected again right at the end there. We did have a Pyrrhic victory for the Dwarves, if any of you missed it. And now we're just waiting for a next... Alright, sorry for that. Other disconnect. Looks like the Empire has dropped out from the tournament after doing 2 matches and 2 losses. A lot of their... looks like one of their main team, Onjage, who was playing on the team, never ended up being able to be there. There were some issues. And unfortunately, a lot of their people have to sub in and out for some various reasons. So... unfortunately, yeah, Empire has dropped from the tournament at this point, and we're going to look up. I think my throat is starting to get killed here with all the talking, so I think we might do 1 or 2 more, and then we'll I'll do 1 or 2 more, and we'll decide from. Might have to call it a day because my throat's starting to die, but hope you all are enjoying this so far. Okay. Let's get the main game here. Okay, so a 4v4. This is going to be pretty dang large, and hopefully my computer can handle it. Looks like a lot of troops on the Greenskin side, but not many on the Bretonnian side in this matchup. Now we're just going to let it load. Might take just a little bit here. All right, and we are in. So, still pretty short battle time here. But, oh man, there's so many units on the field. So I guess instead of doing an overview, we'll kind of just like, let everything run here. All right, so disconnected again. Did pause. Hopefully you didn't miss much there. We just paused that as the armies start to collide. Looks like Greenskins did not end up bringing as it. Okay, yeah, so it appears that the disconnects might just be coming from whenever we start to lag in Warhammer. It's unable to keep up for whatever reason, even though the disconnects are, even though it's set to high priority. So yeah, probably won't be doing much more streaming after this tournament. Well, 1v1s maybe, but not huge battles because of issues like this. But once I get, you know, a better desktop or an actual desktop, I can run Warhammer pretty well. I'll probably be able to do it with a lot more consistency, and we won't have constant problems with OBS going down. So yeah, now hopefully, so we'll try not to zoom in too much here. Hopefully we won't get too much lag. And it looks like still we have Goblin Archers firing on the Green Knight. And now the Lions prepare to charge into each other. Bretonnians charging forward. Both of these forces very low leadership. Yeah, it's definitely the lag. It's the lag that's doing it. Too many units, 4v4, it's killing me. So we're going to have to try and do most of this in slow motion, or else we'll have plenty of issues. This 4v, I don't think my computer was meant for 4v4s. This is uber bad news. Yeah, so yeah, it's 100% the lag that's causing this. It's my computer does not handle 4v4s very well, which is quickly becoming apparent. Just too many units on the battlefield at once. So it looks like for the most part, we're going to have to stick to slow-mo. Knights of the Realm retreating here from a massive horde of greenskins as they charge forward. And we can see all of these Bretonnian archers just firing into the face of the greenskin army. Looks like we did have a Foot of Gork coming down over there, doing quite a bit of damage to that cavalry. Foot of Gork very good against cavalry forces. And now we see, looks like I think that's the remnants of the Foot of Gork, unless that's something else. And just a huge cavalry scrum here. We can see we get the companions of Canals charging against these Goblin Wolf Riders. Goblin Wolf Riders are going to get shredded in this engagement. We have Wurzag popping Wah. We have a Ragnarok Spider Queen. And it looks like this massive horde of greenskins really needs to get kicked into gear here. All this cav really needs to be put into gear and just sent over, trying to overwhelm these archers, overwhelm this cavalry, because there's a massive engagement over here that the greenskins aren't doing so hot in, and they really need to be winning elsewhere in the battlefield to make up for that. Unfortunately, they're just kind of letting themselves get charged here. And we have one team that's not in the engagement, and because of that, it's basically a 3v2 for the time being, while this other greenskins player cannot get into range. We do have Regiment of Renown turning tail. The Knights of the Lionheart, it looks like they were the ones hit with the Foot of Gork. They took too much damage, and it looks like they're going to be running away there. And elsewhere on the battlefield, let's take a look. So we do have the Damsel in the background here. We got another Damsel. Damsel of Life on horse, and another Damsel of Life here. If you're going to have 2 Damsels of Life, I would definitely recommend to take one and put them like over here and one over here. If you have 2 in the same place, you're going to reach the regen cap pretty dang quickly. So to take advantage of that, you want to spread it out among the line. I think it'd be really nice to have Damsels near the cav. Like have Damsel with a cav force to screen them as they go in, right? So there's 2 things Damsel can do. If the Damsel, so we have like the cav force, and we have like a, you know, like a Damsel here. If an enemy approaching cav force is coming in from this direction, and you're charging in this direction, first thing Damsel can do is screen the charge. So Damsel charges in first, and all of these cavalry units will just then all pile on top of the Damsel. The charge will be interrupted, then the Bretonnians can charge in. Yep, so there's another disconnect. 4v4 is rip me. Rip me. Now, hold on here. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like there's much I can do. Yeah, okay, double speed isn't going to be doing much here. Looks like a lot of the Bretonnian cavalry is going to be charging into the greenskin forces here. And now greenskins, finally their other force on the flank is able to charge in and do some damage, but it's taken so long for them to do so. I don't know if they'll be able to do anything at this point. Greenskin's center has taken a huge amount of damage. Green Knight's just been in there wreaking havoc, and there's not much able to be done against them due to the lack of magic damage. You can just see Bretonnian archers pouring fire in here. Hopefully on the recording. I think the recording should be pretty smooth once it gets posted to YouTube. So hopefully there's not... I don't think there can be all these issues on the recording itself once it gets posted. Hopefully there isn't. And so for those watching after, they'll be able to enjoy some of these matches here. Looks like a lot of engagement over here. We have Knights of the Realm, Orc Poor Boy Biggins charging in. I don't know if it was best idea to send the Knights in here, as there is so many cavalry units. They're just going to overwhelm them. Maybe they were just trying to hold them back. And we do see the Fey Enchantress on another massive cavalry scrum over on this side. We'll have to see who comes out the victor there. One thing is for sure, though, the Greenskins are not winning in the center. Bretonnia is definitely taking their toll, but on the flanks, though, Greenskins are coming through hard. As units start to drop, so too do my frames rise. I'm going to try and double speed a little bit here. Well, welcome back after the disconnect, and I was just talking about this huge clump of Greenskins having shots completely poured into them by 5 units of Peasant Bowmen, just absolutely decimating them over here. And this is really bad for the Greenskins. They shouldn't have been so clumped up, and that's going to take out a huge part of their reinforcing army, especially after the Curse of the Midnight Wind took out their armor. That was very well played from the Bretonnians. We do have spiders charging into the Peasant Bowmen, but unfortunately they're not going to be doing much here. Just kind of zoom around the battle and take a look at some of the stuff going on. A lot of Greenskins actually still left here. Looks like this is from the force that was over here charging in with fresh reinforcements. So unfortunately, a lot of the Greenskin center has already fallen. Really don't want to engage separately like that, because it ends up being a 3v2 for the 2 people that are there, and then everyone can focus on the last remaining guy. Ragnarok Queen's still doing quite well, but getting chunked pretty hard by these Royal Pegasus Knights and King Lewin Leonkier. You see Orc Boar Boy Biggins and Squigs charging into these peasant bowmen, and they're preventing them from firing. I think he should have spread it out a little bit better. He had 3 units of cav here. One of these units of cav should have charged around into these guys, prevent them from firing too. And now, with so many units dead, hopefully we won't have any frame drops. Greenston's had almost 4,000 units, but a lot of them are falling. The Rusty Arrows, Night Goblin Archers. Firing in, routing some Bretonnian units, but it's looking pretty grim and pretty dire for the Greenskins at this point. A lot of routing on the Greenskin line, cleaning the Bretonnians cleaning up on the outskirts, although over here is actually pretty good. They managed to rout a ton of these peasant bowmen and trying to run them off the field, but now, with a lot of their healthy cav over here, Bretonnians are going to focus all their efforts on the center, try to bring down these Arachnaroks and try and force the Greenskins to retreat. You can see each hit doing quite a bit of damage to the Arachnarok there. Enemy Lord falls, though. I don't know which... Is that the Fae? Looks like the Fae. Yeah, Fae falls in the midst of the battle here. Not good for the Bretonnians, but at this point it looks like the Greenskins are pretty close to defeated, so I don't think it'll matter at this point. Maybe the Greenskins will pull out some crazy... We can see with the lag comes the disconnects once again. So we'll go into slow motion for the last parts of the battle and hope, you know, we don't get destroyed. And it looks like a lot of routing. This looks like just about a mass rout for the Greenskins here. A lot of their troops are just in full retreat, and it's basically going to be over here. Looks like we had a disconnect in the last moment of battle there, unfortunately. But yeah, as I was saying, Green Knight was definitely not going down. Lord still had very high health. A lot of tons of Greenskin cav. Unfortunately, I think this was the team that was kind of waiting a lot on the side. It wasn't in until very late. You can see most of the Greenskin front line. Black Orcs doing actually quite well, although cutting down a lot of peasants. Goblin Archers really doing jack all. I don't remember when they got caught. They must have got caught by cavalry. We have just a huge Bretonnian. This looks like the Bretonnian front line. And just a huge Bretonnian cav force. Bretonnian archers and flying cav. And another huge cav force. Very well put together army here from Bretonnia. Definitely really working together. It looks like, yeah, both clan VM here going head to head. And unfortunately, well, not unfortunately for the Greenskins, these 4 guys were able to come out on top. So yeah, I think my my voice is starting to get a little mucked here, and I need to figure out the source of all, or I think I already kind of know the source of the issues. Just a ton of lag, but yeah. So yeah, 4v4 is definitely not what I want to be streaming until I get a better computer. 3v3s were decent. I know the first one wasn't too much lag, and I think, through all of it without any disconnect. So yeah, hold on here. Let me just check Discord and stuff. I'll be with you all in a moment. All right, yeah. So I think for now, I'm probably going to sign off. I would like to thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it despite some of the frame issues. I know that was quite annoying. That was probably quite annoying for you guys, and I really apologize for that. So yeah, I hope all of you have enjoyed. We're able to get some enjoyment out of that. Let me just okay, well, that's interesting. Just put that up there. So yeah, I'd like to thank you all for watching. I don't know when next I'll be streaming, probably only like 1v1s occasionally. But yeah, thank you for sticking with me despite all of those issues, and I hope you guys were able to have some fun, learn a decent amount about the game, and enjoy some of these faction wars battles. Again, I believe Helljumper also has a stream on Mixer, so if you want to search up HELJUMPEE or HELJUMPER 16 on Mixer, you can watch some more of the coverage over there. So yeah, I'd like to thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Cheers, guys.